Hello again, everyone. Zack Attack is here with my WWE Raw review for tonight, Monday, October the 27th, 2014. Of course, live from San Antonio, Texas. Of course, the aftermath from the pay-per-view Hell in a Cell. Very interesting one tonight. Main event was actually pretty good of a main event tonight. And speaking of main events, we also got the main event for Survivor Series made. Typical WWE. Go from one pay-per-view and set the next pay-per-view's main event the next day. And, as you also see by the subtitle, we have a return tonight of the big guy. So I'll get to that. But let's kick things off with the Authority. Like we always like to kick off more with the Authority. Yeah, fucking white. So I get Authority. So Authority came out, of course. K, Triple H, Stephanie, and the victorious Seth Rollins. Now, for those of you who did not see my Hell in a Cell review from last night, of course, we saw Rollins and Ambrose in the main event, which was deserved of Hell in a Cell, but of course, it got spoiled by the return of Bray Wyatt. Now, I said on my Hell in a Cell video that I thought that Rollins and Ambrose was going to continue because the match ended with Rollins winning, but it wasn't decisive because Rollins had the victory handed to him with the interference of Wyatt. So I thought the feud was going to continue. Apparently, Rollins said it was over in his promo. Sad that their match, if that was the last match of the feud, the match was still epic. But like I said, it didn't have a clean ending. It didn't have a clear ending because of the interference. So there you go. But Rollins may have another guy in his path. The only good reason about Ambrose and Rollins ending is that we finally see Rollins and Orton get things going. Even if Orton did lose to John Cena, which the point was made many times during this promo, and without seeing Orton accompanying the Authority, we've been seeing this for the last couple weeks about Orton sensing a babyface turn of Orton against the Authority. And him having his confrontation with Rollins, all leading up to him getting curb stomped last week by Rollins after the victory in the 3-on-2 handicap match with Orton, Kane, and Rollins against Cena and Ambrose. So as the Authority were gloating about Rollins' victory by defeating Ambrose and ending their feud, sadly, with the ending of Wyatt, here comes Randy Orton, wanting to take care of Rollins and getting mad. And he said, if you're not going to take care of Rollins, it's pretty boring. Attitude, I'll smack some sense into it myself. Bang, a brawl ensued. And Triple H, and of course, Rollins' cronies, Mercury and Noble tried to help, but then Orton blocked them up and got the RKO on Rollins. And Rollins has to get prepared for John Cena later on this evening in our main event. Now, after Orton RKO, Rollins, sensing their feud is going to build up nicely. Like I said, we've been seeing this building up for the last couple weeks. So, see Orton and Rollins have their feud should be intriguing. That's the only positive about them ending the Rollins-Ambrose feud. Yes, I was mad about the ending of the match, having it interrupted by the interruption of the interference of Wyatt. But at least the feud ended with an epic match. Like I said, I wish it was a better ending, though, and a clear ending, clean ending, and not have anyone else get involved. It should end with them. Like I said in my review last night. I'll probably make reference to my review many times tonight, so stay tuned for that. That's what always happens on the Raw after pay-per-views. I always mention my reviews. Always mention my pay-per-view review in my review after a pay-per-view on a Raw. So there you go. Speaking of happening in Hell in a Cell, of course, Big Show took on Rusev last night. And Mark Henry came out to try to encourage Big Show. But what I tell you, I warned you and now I'm doing it. Like I said in my review, Mark Henry became more of a distraction as Big Show was unable to defeat Rusev. But Big Show and Mark Henry tried to put their differences aside as they tried to go up against the tag team champions of Gold and Stardust, coming off their successful defense over the Usos last night at Hell in a Cell. It was an okay match, especially with Big Show and Mark Henry having their issues. They were dominant early on, but the blind tagging and the problems were building. And with them having no issues, Gold and Stardust decided to use their speed and agility to weaken the big guys. But then Big Show single-handedly got the match back in his favor, even having Stardust out for the KO. The Rapids of Mass Destruction looking like he was going to get the victory for the team. But then Mark Henry came in out of nowhere, the blind tagging, having their arguments, leading up to the world's strongest slam from the Mark Henry man. Leading up to him just shoving Stardust on top of Big Show in the 1-2-3 victory for Star and Gold this week and the championship intact, with Mark Henry delivering 2 more world's strongest slams on Big Show. Now, I remember they had like a backstage promo. I don't think I mentioned this in my review last night. That there was a backstage promo with Big Show and Mark Henry, and you can see Mark Henry's face when Big Show was like, I'm going to got to beat Rusev. And Mark Henry's face was like drooping. He was like, I want to be that guy. So, Mark Henry turning heel again for the millionth time against Big Show. It'd be a okay feud. You know, I think Big Show here will be. We haven't seen Big Show here in a while. I think they should have turned Big Show here. But I think everybody knew that one of these two was gonna turn on the other. I think they teamed up before, and one of them turned heel. So now Mark Henry's the one turning heel again. So we'll see how this feud unravels. And hopefully it don't lead to like all wrestling contests or anything like that when it comes to their strength. Now on to our next affair. AJ taking on Alicia Fox. Now Paige was at ringside. And seeing that was very interesting, especially after what happened during the match at Hell in a Cell, called AJ taking on Paige for the Divas Championship. And Alicia Fox, despite trying to help Paige after getting attacked by AJ on the outside, trying to help Paige back in, did Alicia Fox, but she inadvertently shoved Paige back in the ring to get Black Widowed and get the tap-out victory to AJ. Now, Foxy had her way. Of course, she did get the victory over AJ last week with help from Paige in their little mind game set. But instead of helping Alicia Fox get the win this week, she ended up costing Alicia Fox the match against AJ. With Paige distracting Alicia Fox long enough for AJ to get the small package, or should I say the roll-up, in the 1-2-3 victory for AJ. Because I remember after the Hell in a Cell match, Paige said to Alicia Fox, pushed her down and said, I hate you. It seemed like the friendship was over. The false sense of rekindling the friendship became evident as Alicia Fox got pummeled by AJ's former best friend herself, Paige. Outside the ring, just ramming Alicia Fox against the barricade many times, just pummeling her down. Of course, I think, like I said, Paige ain't getting over. I think she's still pointing the finger at Alicia Fox for the loss after inadvertently pushing Paige back into that ring just to get to be put in the Black Widow by AJ. So there you go. AJ got the victory thanks to the interference of Paige, continuing their rivalry. But I think Paige and Alicia Fox could have their own little rivalry. You know, they were supposed to be these best friends, besties, and now their friendship is now downward spiraled. So I think a few will come out of it. Now on to our next segment. John Cena, the new #1 contender for Brock Lesnar. Lesnar Cena 3. Now, like I also said in my review last night, looking like Brock Lesnar will not defend the championship until probably Royal Rumble next year. So, I think WWE should take advantage of it. Yes, we have no champion on every week. You can bitch about it all you want, and I am one of those people who bitch about having a champion on the air all the time. But they should take advantage of this. With no big championship match to headline Survivor Series, they need to take advantage and have a bunch of traditional Survivor Series matches every year. WWE fans like myself and other old school fans bitch about the lack of Survivor Series matches, like traditional Survivor Series elimination matches. Probably like 2 or 3 every year. There could be 3 or 4. With Lesnar out, it could fill in more space for more people to have Survivor Series matches. And as I say in the subtitle, we do have the Survivor Series main event set out of this segment involving John Cena with Stephanie McMahon interrupting. It is Team Authority versus John Cena in a 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match. After Cena declined Stephanie's offer to join the Authority. He has been Authority side. He's been talking about the Authority many times ever since he recaptured the WWE World Heavyweight Championship back in June at Money in the Bank after the untimely injury of Daniel Bryan. And then, of course, sending Lesnar on him and all that stuff. And now we got Cena and the Authority. Now, we do have, I think we can kind of give a sense of the first 2 guys on both teams, which I'll probably say in a few minutes as we get to our main event. So, there you go. Cena Authority match. We'll see how that goes at Survivor Series. Now, on to our next little scenario. Like I said, I hope that they have more matches. Now, on to our next situation, the tag team match. The Usos trying to come back after losing, as I mentioned earlier, to Golden Stardust at the pay-per-view. Not being able to regain the tag team championships. Took on Miz and Mizdow. If you've been seeing my reviews lately, not just last night's Hell in a Cell review, but also my Raw reviews lately, bitch about Sandow's position and company, but Sandow is really selling this promo, this character with him as Miz's stunt double, selling everything that Miz does for these. Mimicking Miz's moves when he's victorious and winning and getting in control, or he's selling everything that Miz receives from his opponent. It's so funny to watch, especially once again. I warned you earlier that I was going to probably go back and mention my review many times. That on my review after the Sheamus match last night, they had the whole Sheamus pulling on Miz and Sandow, Mizdow, mimicked Miz's move. They had to have choreographed that whole segment to make sure it went perfectly when Miz was down and Sandow mimicked Miz's moves when he was grabbed by Sheamus on the outside. Like I said, they had to have choreographed that. So once again, Sandow's County took the sideline. Even got some wing time in. But of course, the Usos started flying. Flying down big time. They're taking control of the matchup, trying to regain their position, and maybe try to climb back up the ladder to another shot at the Tag Team Championships, currently held by Golden Stardust. In a costly, really timed distraction, got the Usos the victory, and the referee got distracted by Mizdow. One of the Usos switched with the other. Little trick magic, to quote the old move done by the Bella Twins so many times when they were on good terms, character-wise, on the show. Even Miz not knowing it, not knowing the switch, he got rolled up by the illegal Uso and the 1-2-3 victory for the Usos. Like I said, pulling up Twin Magic themselves over Miz and Mizdow, who were complaining to the referee following the matchup, both mimicking each other's moves at the same time. So there you go. Now, on with, we had another Hulk Hogan appearance. Now, WWE putting Hulk Hogan in just to make appearances like this. Like ever since he came back in February, they're using Hogan. They should use him better. You know, not just for short stints, because tonight was, of course, the last Raw with cancer awareness. So this is the last night you're going to see a pink robe in the middle until probably next October. So there you go. Now on to our next scenario. Bo Dallas, after losing to Mark Kimmy last night on the Hell in a Cell pre-show, trying to come back himself. And trying to, believe. I use that voice every time I say, believe. As he put up an open challenge. And my friend Will, who watches the pay-per-views with me, he kind of told me about a certain guy coming back. He said that he was at Hell in a Cell backstage, but he didn't appear at Hell in a Cell last night. But he appeared tonight to accept Bo Dallas' open challenge. Goldberg, Ryback. Now, I think Ryback's was done. Ryback's back to his old gimmick when he was a babyface. Defeat me more. And the fans loved him. And they kept chanting it even when he was in Ryback's old. Reminding us of that great 2012 one where he was just smashing everybody in sight and he had that feud against Punk. Now, I remember that whole thing, the whole Hell in a Cell thing. That was like the beginning of his downfall, and when the fans started not to like him that much anymore. When he got screwed over in that referee, Brad Maddox situation, and he just gradually went down the ladder. He had an okay feud with Cena last year as a heel for the championship as well. But he hasn't been the same ever since he was a babyface in 2012, when the fans were on his side, and really getting on his side, and really thinking he was going to be championship. I thought it was too early. I did not think he deserved the title then. Maybe I'll change my mind if Ryback starts wrestling a little bit more effectively. But he just squashed the hell out of Bo Dallas, and he did his own moves again. The finish it, and the stomping around, marching around. Like I say, he's back to being a babyface. What does his leave Curtis Axel in all of this? Will Axel return as a heel? The feud that would be intriguing to see Ryback and Curtis Axel in a feud. Now that apparently Ryback's a babyface again. He's been out for a few months with an injury, and now he's back tonight. And it's kind of interesting to see him back as a babyface, and the fans still reacting to the old, the feed me more chants, and him doing the feed me more. Cena as a babyface again. I think he was an okay heel, but I think he's a better babyface. And seeing him again, maybe relive that magic of that 2012 one when the fans were really on his side. So, see what happens. I think they should push him a lot more and try to benefit now, and the fans like him again. They need to do what they tried to do in 2012, making a big star. This might be his last chance to really make it big. With the fans on his side again, WWE needs to take advantage. Now on to our next affair. It was a scheduled contest against Cesaro and Dean Ambrose. Of course, Dean Ambrose trying to recover from his loss against Rollins in interference from Bray Wyatt. And for Dean Ambrose, he wasn't focused on Cesaro. He wanted Bray Wyatt. He stood on top of the announce table, calling out Bray Wyatt, and just nailed Cesaro. The match never really started. Like, Cesaro got pummeled by Ambrose with the mic. It was just a fight outside the ring. The fight never started. He basically fought off Cesaro to the back, nailing him numerous times with that mic. He was brawling. He was vicious. He took out every inch of aggression, imagining that Cesaro was Bray Wyatt. So after Cesaro got taken out to the back after being pummeled by Cesaro's scheduled opponent, Ambrose wanted Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt appeared on the screen, saying one name, basically being ominous. Now, of course, mentioning my review, Bray Wyatt's pummels to return, being repackaged after, his momentum got downward spiral after his feud against Cena. Like, isn't it a trend that every time someone feuds against Cena, they go downward spiral? Like what happened to Ryback. But again, Ryback's trying to regain momentum. And so is Bray Wyatt. Even though I didn't like his appearance during the match, at least his appearance was interesting. In starting Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose feud, I wanted Ambrose and Rollins to continue. I thought it was going to continue to make the main event seem more interesting. But having a Bray Wyatt Ambrose feud, it'll be intriguing because these two guys are both psychotic. And both guys are going to benefit from it. Especially when Bray Wyatt needs momentum regained in his favor. And having those creepy promos again. And having him alone will be intriguing. Yeah, even had a new graphic for when he instead of the big go head. He's got new graphics now and new interview backstage promo with the fog and smoke and stuff. And his promos are making a lot more cryptic sense again. So I would not be surprised if Ambrose and Wyatt, I predict they will be involved in a match at Survivor Series, whether it's in their own Survivor Series match or as part of Team Cena and Team Authority. Like I said, it's all Ambrose never happened. Ambrose just wants Wyatt. Speaking of Team Authority and Team Cena, I think we can kind of think that the Authority and Cena's team have their first official members. Kane on the Authority side, and Dolph Ziggler on Cena's side. Now, Dolph Ziggler was caught talking to Cena about trying to join his team. Kane overheard and challenged Dolph Ziggler for a match later on in the evening. It was an okay matchup. Kane just dominated with his powerful speed. And it was a very long match and intriguing. He just could not keep Dolph Ziggler down. Despite every bit of punishment dished out from Kane, Ziggler would come flying back with his own big moves. He did try the famous and of course, tried numerous. I think he did nail the famous at one point. He tried for the zigzag. Couldn't do it. And Kane just kept coming back with the big, stiff, white arms, white hands, and all these moves. And he was going for the ending, going for the choke slam. But then Ziggler countered and turned it into a sunset flip. 1, 2, 3 victory for Dolph Ziggler, pulling it out. Big time. After Kane's chokeslam got blocked from Ziggler after getting pummeled by Kane, especially with big boots and all that stuff. But Dolph Ziggler wasn't able to celebrate for long. As post-match, Kane would pummel on Rollins. Well, Rollins would come out to help Kane pummel on Ziggler until Cena made the rescue. I think right now, as it stands, it's not official yet, but I bet you Team Cena is consisting of him and Dolph Ziggler and Kane and Seth Rollins on the Authority side. So 3 more members left on that team. And then after that, we have Dolph Ziggler's savior, John Cena, to take on Seth Rollins in the main event. This was a really interesting and fun main event. Now, of course, as we all know, Cena and Rollins have had their problems ever since Rollins, kind of inadvertently or not, cost Cena his opportunity to regain the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Dolph Ziggler's former championship guy, Brock Lesnar. When Rollins came in the last second as Cena looked like he was going to win over Lesnar at the pay-per-view. And Cena won, and Rollins, of course, we had that Cena Ambrose thing to see who would fight Rollins at Hell in a Cell. As we all know, it was Rollins and Ambrose at Hell in a Cell. So Cena would finally get his hands on Rollins in a one-on-one match. And if these two even had a Hell in a Cell match, it would have been interesting. But Ambrose and Rollins is a better fit for Hell in a Cell. But put all that aside, Cena and Rollins was a pretty good main event. Really good back and forth action. It was a very long match. And there were some great spots in it. Especially that great inverted thing. Like it was like an inverted suplex or some inverted DDT that Rollins put on Cena. That was pretty cool. It was just back and forth. Like Cena kept coming back and stuff, typical Super Cena way. But Rollins to get back in the game, especially with help and interference from his cronies, Jamie Noble and Mercury, getting a little bit involved. Not a little bit, but a lot involved. They got involved many times in the matchup, probably against Cena. Many times when Cena would get the last word as there was one spot when Cena threw Rollins on the top rope on top of Noble and Mercury. And this match was pretty fun. And Rollins carried the match for sure. Rollins is the more athletic one. And it was an interesting match for being a Cena match. It was actually a fun main event. Even with the cheap ending. But it was a fun ending. Unlike the ending of Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. So Cena got the FU and even got the SCFU at one point. He did have it locked in. And then here comes Kane for the disqualification. After Cena blocked the curb stomp attempt. And like what Cena did for him earlier, Ziggler made the rescue for John Cena. And then the entire locker room started piling out in a big brawl involved just to end Raw with all the locker room pummeling and Cena standing tall in the end. With the Authority wincing and grimacingly standing on top of the Megatron, the Titantron. We didn't see Orton in that scuffle. I would have loved to have seen Orton just come from behind and just attack Rollins on top of the Titantron. Too bad that didn't happen. But it was a fun main event and an interesting ending. But who's going to be on the Team Cena and Team Authority teams? Like I said, I think we have the first two guys on each team set, even though it's not official. But especially after seeing, Cena save Ziggler, Ziggler save Cena from attacks, and seeing Kane and Rollins teaming up, it would not be surprising if we see Kane and Rollins and Cena and Ziggler as the first two guys on the two respective main event teams of Survivor Series. If I was to predict the other three members, like I said earlier, I'd say Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt will be involved in some sort of match at Survivor Series. Whether it's in their own Survivor Series match, a one-on-one match in Survivor Series, or being involved in Cena and the Authority Survivor Series match. I say put them in that match and build up their feud, because that's what good Survivor Series matches usually do. Back in the day, having rivals in Survivor Series matches help enhance the feud. That's what I think they should do with Ambrose and Wyatt. Have them in a Survivor Series match, whether it's their own match, captained by them, or insert them in the Cena Authority Survivor Series match. Enhance their feud and probably have a great match at TLC. And a fun one at TLC. But we'll see what direction they take with Ambrose and Wyatt when it comes to their involvement in Survivor Series. So we'll see how that goes as we head down that road now. That's WWE's mindset. The night after a pay-per-view, they brush it off and it's on to the next one. With, of course, the naming of the Survivor Series main event. Without Lesnar, like I said, they could take advantage and have many more Survivor Series matches now with Lesnar not main eventing. I expect a Divas Survivor Series match. They always have to have a Divas one. It's either going to be captained by Nikki or Brie, or what I think should go down when it comes to who should captain the teams of the Survivor Series Divas match, AJ and Paige. That's what I'm thinking. So there you go. And I hope they do this too. I would love to see some NXT people in the Survivor Series teams. That would be kind of cool. We saw a couple weeks ago on Raw, we saw Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville show up on Raw, and Tyler Breeze did too right before NXT TakeOver. So, see if they would integrate more NXT guys in the pay-per-view. Love to see that. So there you go. That is it. We're WWE Raw review for this evening. Thank you all very much for watching. With that in mind, y'all been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you very much. See you later. Yeah.